Hey everybody, it's that time again when the two old bucks gather and do a little friendship chatting. This is episode 216, and this is old Buck Dell, and with me, of course, is
How about Dave?
old Buck Dave. So old Buck Dave usually says, "Hey Dell, how you doing?" And I say, "Fine," and he'll say, "I'm doing both voices here for a second." He'll say, "Yeah." He'll say, "What's new?" And I'll say, "Here we go." So. No, I have a story to tell you, Dave. I have a little, I think, a real life story that a lot of our listeners can relate to. You ready for this?
I am ready. I'm sitting down. Yeah.
Uh, Tell me, do you not believe that how we survive is we have this belief it won't happen to me? Is it? Do you think that's what the basis is?
It's that well. Yeah, everybody believes that. It's not going to happen to me. Sure.
Okay, we jump in the car, we say, I will not be involved in an
I'm not the
accident.
one that's going to be in an accident. Yeah.
I'm not the one that's going to be in an accident. So it's this it's this it's it won't happen to me thing, and yet there's some stuff coming up as these years tick by that clearly is could easily happen to me, and I'll tell you why I'm mentioning this.
Tell me why.
I had um I had an I don't know if it's an opportunity or an obligation, but I, sort of a caregiver to an elderly gentleman who didn't have anybody to look after him, who doesn't have anybody to look after him.
Okay.
And with the way this our generations and the people turning 65, they say 10,000 people turn 65 every day. You know that?
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Okay. All
A
right. So
lot. Yeah. Yeah. It's
I I have just incredible respect for all the folks that either for no other choice or by choice or work in these nursing homes or take care of the elderly. I generally think, oh, I see it, but I'm not that close to it. And I think, oh boy, I'm glad that didn't happen to me. So I'm in a situation where an elderly man says, can you pick me up from my rehab center? The man fell. He fell face down on the asphalt and banged the whole left side of his head up big time. Fractured a lot of little bones in his wrist and arm. And he has a myriad of other problems. He probably takes 27 pills twice a day.
hmm.
Well, I said, okay, I'll do it. And I go and I pick him up. A wheelchair comes to the car. I load the walkers into the back seat. I get him tucked in. I get his seat. I get his butt in the seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he can't lift his other leg up to get it back in. So I'm lifting his pant leg up and grabbing his shoe and pulling his foot up into the car. Are you picturing this? I hope you're picturing this.
I'm there. I'm with you. Yeah.
All right. So
I've seen it happen.
yeah. So I get him in, shut the door, and we're ready to take him back to his place, which is, and even that I know is going to be a problem because he shouldn't be living alone, and he lives on a second floor. So strike one, strike two.
Mm.
All right. So I think I'm going to just go to get him home, and hopefully my good deed for the day will be over. So he gets in the car and he talks in a real low tone. I've got my hearing aids in and or hearing aid in, and he's facing the window and talking in a mumbling kind of tone about he didn't like the rehab center and yada, and I can't really hear him. We take off and we get a ways down the road, and he says, I want to go out to breakfast. Got to get in and out of the car, get over the curbs, get through the doors, find a seat, find a booth, find a chair. So I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this, but I said, okay. So I take him to a restaurant, find the handicap parking, jump in, open the door. I get one leg out, got him turned around, and I'm pulling on the other leg, and he's mumbling something, and I'm dragging him and wondering why he can't get, hasn't not turning so I can put both feet on the ground and get him stood up, and I'm pulling, and he's mumbling to me. And I said, "What do you want?" He said, "Unfasten the seatbelt."
Oh, jeez.
I cannot tell you how I felt because I'm treating him like he was it's like a piece of baggage. I could just drag him out of the car because so my heart really sunk at that point. I was like, oh man, that's terrible. So I unfastened the seatbelt, of course, and then I was
That
able to
got
get him out.
easier.
I was able to get him on, able to get him in, and then we sat down and got everything organized. And he doesn't have much use of his left hand, so as he's trying to eat, I'm trying to hold the plates on the table so he can, cut his pancake
Mm.
up, etc. I get through all that, get him back out to the car. We probably went 20 feet, and it takes you about 20 minutes to get to the car, get him back in, get him all tucked back in. So to shorten the story, I just my heart goes out to all the folks that have the wherewithal to help the elderly. And the whole time I'm thinking, I hope this doesn't happen to me. I hope this doesn't happen to me. I hope this doesn't happen to me
When you get old.
when I get old. And this is like yesterday. So even today, I'm still troubled by all this. I mean, I'm thinking, oh my soul. So all the best to the folks and
All the
listeners
best to
out
the
there
caregivers out there. Absolutely.
that may have to do something like that, or
Okay. On
hope
that
you don't
note,
hope you don't get old.
hope, hope we don't get old. Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you a little lighter note.
Give me a lighter note.
I have a pretty big following. I have a, I would not. It's not a huge following, but a pretty big following. I mean, both of the people who listen to me uh, and adhere to my movie uh, expertise. I want to give a shout out to them. I would not spend the money on a movie called Black Bag. You heard about that movie?
I've heard it. It's got great reviews again.
Well, that's why I went.
Okay.
I went because of the great reviews, and
There's a big butt coming here.
the big BUTT is. I said, "Huh? Normally, there'd only be 2 seats left in this theater if this was this good. The movie is going to be on in 2 hours, right? And I'm looking at the Fandango to book seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only 6 people in the theater. Ha! I said, well, no problem. I don't even have to book ahead. I'll just take my chances. Of course, there was only 6 people in the theater. That's a clear indication.
Well, tell me about the movie.
The movie was a was a British
Some
May
spy,
I would
spy movie of some sort?
it was supposed to be there are a bunch of spies, but this is a movie that's probably best for a PBS a British television series or something. I I did not I couldn't hear most of it. They were talking in low voices, and I kept asking my wife, "What did he say? What did he say?" Because I could not follow the movie,
Oh, that's hard.
and
That's bad.
and there was only I think 4 gunshots in the whole movie.
Well, that's no fun.
That's no fun.
That's no fun.
So
So, so,
Obagdale gives it about a 2. So forget Rotten Tomatoes and the rest of your stuff.
okay.
I would not go to see this. Do what I do is say, hey Dave, why don't you go see this movie and tell me what you think and
Yeah.
save yourself $13.
Mm. Wait till it comes on Netflix, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So
that's my scoop on
that's
that.
thumbs
Yeah.
down for Black Bag. All right.
That's exactly thumbs down for Black
Okay.
Bag.
We'll
So
see what what the listeners have to say once they've seen it. So tell us what you think, folks.
actually, I wouldn't mind having our listeners write in about movies. I wish they would tell me that. I trust our listeners because If they're listening to the old Bucks, we're on the same wavelength. Tell us what you think about these late movies that we might be interested in. Then we can pan them or look at them, ourselves. But so go ahead, write in.
All right. Hey, speaking of writing in, we did get a listener write in on one of the questions that we talked about last week, last episode, excuse me. Would you like to be famous? That one.
Hmm.
And you had said you would definitely not like to be famous. It's too much trouble. And I was thinking, like, well, maybe niche famous, a little bit famous would be okay. But well, a listener wrote in and said she worked for a fella who was famous only in his little niche, and she said and it was a pain in the butt. People chasing him, and she said, and this was in a religious situation also,
Hmm.
and she said it was just would just wear you out, uh, the whole thing. She said, I don't want to be famous. I'm glad I was never famous. So
Well,
interesting, huh?
beware of those who want to be famous.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Anybody says, yes, I'll be on your homeowners association board if I can be president. Said that is a big red flag, buddy.
There you go.
So, so what
Anyway,
else have you been doing?
well, I got back from San Diego last Friday, I guess. Uh, so since we talked a little bit about San Diego, a couple of the things I could throw in. We did lots of walking. We averaged over 10,000 steps a day. That's I think that's close to 5 miles, somewhere right around there. Uh, it never rains in San Diego. It's a desert climate. It rained 4 days in a row while we were there.
I
four
saw
day,
that.
4 days in a row.
Yeah.
And it's funny on the second day of rain, uh, we wanted to go to the art museum in Balboa Park, which is just a little over 2 miles from us, and we were going to walk it. And I said, it was in late morning. I said, well, okay, the rain's just stopped, but the weather says it's going to start raining again. And my wife says, come on, we can walk. We can walk. It'll be fine. So, so we started walking, and about, we probably got 100 feet or so, and it started raining, but just a mist, just a drizzle. But the further we got, kind of the harder the rain came down. And then I had plotted out a route where we would take a dirt path through Balboa Park. Well, Balboa Park was like up and down, and it was a narrow mud path. It was like, but but my wife never complained once. It was great. Uh, got to the museum, started raining harder once we got in. Uh, we were going to go home at that point, but it was raining so hard. We said, we'll just run over to another sheltered building here and get something to eat. We did that. Still raining, still raining. So we walked out to a road where we can call an Uber in, and we did that. And by the time that guy showed up, we we were just we were soaked through and through. But you know what? It all dries out, and it was a good visit. It was a good visit to the museum.
Made it through that one. It's
We made
always
it through. We went to the zoo another day. Our son went to the zoo with us. He was in and out, spent some time with us, which was great. Probably the best part. Uh, I rented a bike for a couple days, rode over to Coronado, had a nice time. The folks at the bike rental place were really nice. We were old buddies by the time we got done. It was fun. Went to the Persian restaurant that I talked to that I had mentioned but hadn't gone to, and it was called Lila. It was really really good. It was probably our best meal.
and,
And
and that came as a result of somebody sitting next to you on the plane. That was
sitting
our
next to my wife on the plane. Yeah,
next to me on the plane story. So that's
yeah.
interesting. So you settled back in now. You're back in the groove. The temperature as we speak, good people, is I think 86 degrees
Is it
today.
is it that hot already? Let
But
me see.
see, that's
Oh, it
bearable
says
without
eight. My phone
humidity.
says 87. Yeah. See, that was the beauty about San Diego. It was like 50s in the morning and 60s in the afternoon, which is just perfect for me. It was,
Mm.
yeah, it was
No
it was
humidity and no
no
pollen.
humidity, no pollen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, I got a good bike ride in this morning. So that was nice before it got hot. Um, what else is going on? We saw Yo-Yo Ma the other night. That was great.
You
Uh,
did.
we did. Yeah.
And local concert or something going
Local.
on
Yeah.
local?
Local. Yeah. Local. Yeah. It was nice. It was an evening with Yo-Yo Ma. So it wasn't just him, playing one piece after another. He talked between them. And when we got in there, it said come a half hour early. I thought, why does it say come a half hour early? And so he's up there. There's a screen behind him that says, "Ask me anything." So he's got
Oh,
two lines of people with microphones there, and they're asking him everything. It was just terrific, from really mundane stuff to really technical stuff. Really an enjoyable evening. He was quite an interesting character.
so he was the lead. He was a soloist
He was he was the
in a sort of a
soloist.
group of people. He had some background things
No,
for
no, it
some.
was just him.
Oh, just him.
It was just him. Now he had some digital background from time to time, depending on what it was. But no, there were no other people playing instruments with him.
How big was the auditorium?
Well, it's the Van Wezel here. I don't know.
Oh, so that's 1,500
Is
people.
that what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. No bad seats.
No bad seats in there. No,
There's
just long rows.
long rows. No, no exit aisle.
That's you know,
Don't light a cigarette.
so the folks that have never, the Van, is it pronounced Van Weasel or Van Wezel? Like the Wezel?
I don't know.
I think it's spelled with a W.
It's spelled with a W. I always call it the
Yeah,
weasel,
yeah.
which is not correct.
That's not. Yeah.
It's not
So
the weasel.
if you are listening to this, just to give you a clue, one of the things that people talk about is this is an auditorium that's big enough for say 1,500 people, but each row probably has 160 people in it. So if you're sitting in the middle row and you have a problem with your uh, bathroom urges, you are in real trouble.
You have to crawl
That's
across a lot of
that's
people.
right. You got to crawl across a lot of people. So they always complain that most theaters you don't have to go but
There's
across
no
10,
center aisle. There's no
10 people,
center
no
aisle.
center aisle in this thing. So that's one of the big drawbacks. But they get some fantastic, absolutely fantastic performers there. It's a top grade performing location. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. So, well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
And speaking of Ask Me Anything, I think it's maybe time for us to do some more of talking about love questions. We did.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah. So
put my Barry White voice
so you did
on.
get these in advance. So these would be questions 5, 6, and 7, and they're still not very. They're not very intimate kind of questions yet. But again, these are. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to last episode and read the show notes and look at the link there. I think it's 36 questions that lead to love, or something like that. So let me ask you. We covered 4 last time. Let me ask you number 5 here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
When did you last sing to yourself and to someone else?
Well, I laughed at that one straight away because I sing to myself all the time. I have some favorite songs that I just I just start singing them. You know what I mean? Like one that comes up all the time, and this I sing to my lovely wife. Is that song from? There's a song in the movie Madagascar, a little animated movie,
Mm-hmm.
where the lemurs are singing, "We like to move it, move it. We like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it." And that's an indication to her that I want to go.
As
So
in
I
depart the premises and get in the car and go somewhere. Okay. Not to the bathroom or anything. Okay.
and I know most of the lyrics, which I sing sometime of Bohemian Rhapsody. I can pretty much get through that one, and there's a couple other that I almost know all the lyrics to "Walk This Way" by Aerosmith. Uh, and for some reason, it's like a earworm. It'll get into me, and I start
Hmm.
singing them while I'm working in the kitchen or something, or putzing around.
Yep.
But the Move It" song is
That's your
what I
anthem.
when I sing to my wife when hopefully we will actually get out to the car and I can turn the ignition on without having to go back into the house to get something. So I do that all the time.
Okay. I sing all the time too. I really do. I sing with the radio. I sing with, sing with Spotify. Uh, I always sing on my bike. All right. Now
Really?
and there's a reason there. This is kind of a thing to check my heart rate, to check check how I'm doing. Uh,
Huh.
because they say if you can't talk, you're kind of at the peak of your output at that point. You got nothing left. You're in the
Ah.
anaerobic region. Okay. So when I watch my heart rate, and when it gets up, it starts getting up high. I will sing to myself like, okay, I can still sing, so I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to collapse and fall off the bike yet. So
That is absolutely fascinating. So that there's a little science to that in that if you can be pedaling for a great distance at a certain RPM or whatever, and still have enough breath left to even sing, that's a sign that you're okay.
you're okay. Yeah, you're
Ah,
still in aerobic.
fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And as far as
That's
singing to somebody else, nobody can stand my singing.
no, you have no tone at all. You have
I
absolutely.
don't. I made the mistake of telling my boys when they were young the story when in third grade, I think it was, when each of us had to stand up and sing a solo. And the teacher said to me, "Little Davy, do you have a cold?" They tell me that story all the time. And we'll be talking about something, and he'll look over and he says, "Little Davy, do you have a cold?" I got some of that in San Diego.
That's funny. I'm thinking of some funny things. There's a lot of musical lyrics that people could sing to each other, like spouses or something, because and I only have eyes for you,
Yeah, there
dear.
you go.
So
Yeah.
you can pick these little snippets of the lyrics and sing that to your spouse to try to get a message across. That's why I say, like, I like to move it. What's the
All right.
next question?
All
What's the
right.
next
Now,
question?
question number 6. This is a good one here. If you
Oh,
were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
and I mean, I would be 90 and I would still could have my mind or my body in good shape,
At
but
age
not
nine,
both.
at age 90, you could have the mind of a 30-year-old or the body of a 30-year-old.
Uh, I'm afraid at that age, the body of a 30-year-old would be pretty much useless. You can't have one without the other.
This is the one. Which one do you want now? You got to
I'll
pick
take
one.
I'll take the mind
You'll
because
go
at
for the
least,
mind.
yeah, at least I can say, what I want them to do with the rest of my limp and frail body. Maybe I can tell them what to do with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't plug me in.
yeah. See, the
Uh,
way I read this is, the engineer in me kicked in. I said, I'm thinking you need to qualify this. So, I mean, exactly what kind of mind or what kind of body? Now, if you had the body of Jabba the Hutt for 60 years, okay, if it's 30-year-old Jabba the Hutt, you probably wouldn't want that. All right.
I'm trying to picture that. Yeah, you're right.
And similarly, if you had the mind of someone who didn't have a very good mind, that wouldn't be so good either. So just assuming, it's not the mind or the body of a boxer or something like that. Assume it's a kind of a healthy person, healthy mind, healthy body. I would definitely go with the mind. I mean, think about it. You can teach the mind can learn. Your mind is still sharp at the end, which is really important.
And yeah,
You read
and
about
the mind would be smart enough to tell your right arm, pull the plug.
exactly. That's right. Yeah. I mean, you read about people that get early Alzheimer's. They can live over
Oh
20
yeah.
years that way.
Yes.
That's not fun for anybody.
Okay, so I'm choosing mine on the merits of the question, but you as an engineer analyzing it a little bit.
Well, we
What's
yeah,
your say?
we both went with the mind for
This is a love story
this
question,
is
a
a
love
love
question.
story. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll still love you even if you lose your mind. How's that sound? 'Cause
Well, thanks for the warning. Uh,
so
all right.
what's the next?
One more question. And I see now they're starting to get more personal here. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
You
Hmm.
know, I don't have a hunch about how I would die, uh, but I have some hunches about how miserable I'm going to be on certain areas. You know what I mean? Like if you uh, if you have a little fibromyalgia or something, I have a hunch that this could be a problem, or maybe I've got some hearing issues or something like that. But I don't see that on. I don't have a clue about the final curtain because there's so many things on the wheel of maladies that I could get between now and then. The only thing
So
is,
you don't have any favorites.
yeah. And what's the joke between me and you? It's like maybe I'll get lucky and get hit by a '60 Buick,
Yeah.
and we know the size of that thing, so you're not going to walk away from that
That'll
one.
do the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but otherwise, if I could predict it, well, maybe uh, if I had I was on the medication, or if I had things happening to me and I had the warning.
So you're not going out on a limb here. No,
No,
no hunch. You don't think about it that much. In other words.
I don't even think about it. I just don't want to be like that guy. You know what I mean? I just don't want that to happen to me.
Hmm.
And if that doesn't happen to me, then I should be fine. Of course, everybody has got to be smiling to themselves now. There's probably about 45 of those that you would not want to have happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have this or you can have that. Oh, I don't want that. Give me another question.
Those are the only three questions. As far as me, I've got cancer and heart issues on both sides of the family. So I always figured it had an iron heart, so it was going to be cancer. But and then heart disease showed up. So it's still, who knows? Who knows?
I'm telling you, go for the '60 Buick. You know how many
Go
streets you
for the
can,
Buick. Yeah.
there's, think about the options of being a '60 Buick out there. So if you keep crossing the street, not at the proper intersection or on the go ahead and walk sign, but you cross those 4-lane highways in the middle of the highway, and the chances of getting hit by a '60 Buick is pretty rare. So you could live a long time, except those big GMC or Ram trucks.
Yeah.
There's a plethora of them out there, so you probably won't make it anyhow but
Way
two or
too
three
many.
times
Yeah.
before they would get you. So
Yeah.
hey, I like to throw this out to our listeners. If you got thoughts on all this stuff, we are actually at we're getting up around that point where these things are prevalent and people around us. So write to us and tell us. I would love to hear what you think about movies and
Or
all
any of the
these
or
things.
any of the questions that we discussed. Yeah. Or anything else.
And
We need some
and
we need some letters from afar. The letter bag is a little slim this time.
yeah, so we're encouraging everybody to help us with our movie reviews and uh, and how to cope as the ravages of time take its toll. So we'll see. Huh?
We'll see. Okay. Well, hey, one other thing I want to say before we say goodbye
Hmm.
is looks like our next episode will be with Old Buck Tom, where we'll read The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, as we had talked about before. So I think I'll put a link to, I'm going to I think I still have a link to the story itself. I'll put it in the show notes if anybody wants to read it in advance. And even send us some comments via email or voicemail, whichever way you want to do it. See what your comments are before we read it. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's good. I mean, we of course both read it, and we're looking for Tom's input on that too. So, okay, hopefully we'll put that together. I have I stumbled upon, or I was asked to look at a book called The Good Omens. It's Good Omens, Good Omens. This is sci-fi. One of the authors is Terry Pratchett. He's kind of they're kind of humorous sci-fi guys, a couple of British gentlemen. And the premise of this, and the sample that I read was just had me laughing. This is a story where two angels, one a demon who, a demon, the other is a good angel, like an archangel.
Good guys and bad guys.
Yeah, good guys and bad guys, and they have been on Earth for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
and the mischief that they get up to is just humorous. But the two of them have become friends.
They have something in common, right?
And then they're supposed to be working with the birth of the Antichrist. Okay, you've heard that term, right?
The birth of the Antichrist.
Yes, they're supposed to be working with, and he's like the guy that brings it all to, destroys the world or whatever.
Well, we know who that is, but we won't say it here.
But listen, it has some. I think it's kind of has some humor about that too. But the twist is they have this whole setup, and one of the other minor demons makes a mistake and switches the babies at birth. There's supposed to be two babies born or something. I mean, it is just, the premise is just hilarious. So
this sounds like a recommendation.
I thought that I started to read it. I said, that is absolutely hilarious. Where these guys come up with that, I don't know. These two, and they're both, like I say, sci-fi kind of comedians. So anyhow, that's all old Buckdale has to say about those things. So.
Okay. Well, that's about all old Buck Dave has to say today too. Other than
we'll say goodbye then.
We'll say goodbye. Good week ahead to everybody, and looking forward to seeing you the next time, or listening with you, talking to you the next time, along with old Buck Tom.
Yep. Old Buckdale saying thank you very much, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.